When Good Ghouls Go Bad is the best Halloween movie ever made, and no, I will not be having any discussions about this. It's got everything. Zombie Christopher Lloyd. Small town with an overbearing curse. Old school jockhead bullies with their old school jockhead bully's dad. Overacting, underacting. It's got zombies. I mean, look at how they look. The floor from Casper makes an appearance. And best of all, it's written by none other than horror legend R.L. motherfucking Stein. That's right, baby, we got goosebumps in this bitch. When Good Ghouls Go Bad was made in that special era of pop culture where media producers weren't afraid to market semi-mature content to younger audiences. TV shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark and the Goosebump books were absolute king during this time. While on the surface, When Good Ghouls Go Bad may seem like a fairly simple plot. A kid by the name of Curtis Danko is gruesomely murdered on Halloween night, and by doing so, Curtis Danko has placed a curse on this town of Walker Falls, vowing to return and destroy the small town should they ever celebrate Halloween again. The townsfolk, fearing retribution from Curtis Danko, have banned any sort of Halloween celebrations for the last 20 years. And even going so far as outright banning the word Halloween altogether. And then you have some of the B-plot stories that run concurrent to the whole haunted Halloween town, if you will. Truth be told, this B story is more like the A- story. It takes 90% of the screen time. Like, the zombies don't even show up until, like, the last 20 minutes of this movie. But when they do, man, is it so good. Anyways, I digress. So then you have the story of the Walkers, the family the town is named after. James Walker, after a messy divorce, moves back to Walker Falls with his son Danny to rebuild his family business, a chocolate factory built by Danny's grandfather, aptly named Uncle Fred, played by Christopher Lloyd. And underneath that story, you have the story of a generation of Walker fathers ignoring their sons, perpetuate the system of a broken home, I'm assuming, with Danny is doomed to repeat. Or so you would be led to believe. Cats in the cradle with the silver spoon. There's also the subplot of young Danny, who is our protagonist in this movie, falling in love with one of his classmates. You know, just real. All these movies have to have a love interest, right? Like, that's just what it is. You know, you couldn't make a kid movie without the young kid falling in love with the girl. But they do that one thing that I always hate movies did. Danny has a crush on Dana, which, terrible name, by the way. So, of course, he pursues her, but then you find out that Dana is the daughter of Taylor, the school nurse. And, of course, Danny's dad, James Walker, and Dana's mom, Taylor, start dating. And I hate that trope so much. And I'm glad this movie, it basically shies away from it at the end. But for some reason during this time period, that was such a very popular trope to throw in your movies. It's one of those things, I assume some bigwig producer says, you know, everybody gets a love interest, everyone gets a happy ending. But there's too many, you know, to really rein in all these side characters, you have to make them all related. So what do? You're dating her mom, your son is dating the daughter, do you go on double dates? It's gross. It's weird. And I'm glad at the end of this movie they kind of do. The parents decide, well, we'll let the kids, you know, bang it out, and when they eventually break up because they're in middle school, then we'll get together because we're adults, and maybe we'll like bone on the side. You know, that's the vibe you get by the end of the movie. But anyways, back to the zombies. What I absolutely love about this movie is it's not afraid to show a little bit of gore, to get, you know, a little weird with its audience. And make no mistake, this was definitely made for kids. Media producers at the time realized that kids like to be scared as well. It's Halloween. It's kind of the whole thing, right? And they understood that a zombie getting his face ripped off and showing the bone underneath, or Danny and Donna having to use screws to attach Uncle Fred's limbs back to his body, and just that sound of the drill digging into bone is fantastic. And yes, that actually happened in this movie. You know, and maybe the producers of the movie were trying to scare the kids a little bit. You know, it's Halloween. I think they understood that very well. A lot of the scarier stuff does get undercut with either a musical score or jokes to kind of lighten the mood because, yeah, you know, you can't go full Night of the Living Dead on a kids movie. But I love this line that Dana says when asked why she's building this secret haunted house. The kids want Halloween, you know. The Curtis Danko stuff happened before they were born, and all they have known is this curse and this thing they are not allowed to do. Paraphrasing, but basically what she says is, if you can't handle being scared as a kid, how can you handle it being scared as an adult? Because there are much scarier things as an adult than plastic skeletons and rubber masks. Oh, and in this case, you know, real zombies. Oh, and speaking of the zombies, look at these guys. This movie must have been made on a shoestring budget, but it feels like they spent most of it on the zombies. They look great. This scene of the zombies walking up together as Danny and Dana, you know, look on in horror is a scene that is just burned into my brain. They used that for the trailer for this movie, and I remember, oh my god, it spooked me. It was scary. Oh my god, and Curtis Danko. Through the whole movie, he's propped up as this big bad, this person this entity that you couldn't even talk about because his curse was overhanging this small town, choking it out. And when you finally see him, when he takes that mask off, oh my god, so good. Look at that entrance. Just listen to him walk, his burnt flesh rubbing against his leather jacket. It's fantastic. The fireflies for eyes? My god. So good. And I love that he doesn't say a word through the movie. It really adds to his spooky persona. Oh look, he's cosplaying as Michael Jackson. Of course, at the end, it's revealed that Curtis Danko didn't actually have anything to do with the curse. If anything, it was kind of a self-fulfilling curse. Coach Kenkel, jealous that Curtis Danko's statue was going to be put up in the town square, decided to play a prank on him. Him and his hooligan buddies went to the school at night to harass Curtis, chased him into the giant walk-in kiln, and left when they heard a janitor coming to clean up for the night. Of course, you know, Deus Ex, the kiln gets turned on, Curtis Danko gets roasted, and the next day, Coach Kenkel, seeing that the kiln was on, goes in to check, sees Curtis's torched body and his statue, and decides to write the curse in the ashes to make sure that no one would ever find out that Curtis Danko really liked Uncle Fred. Weird. It's kind of weird, but alright. So basically, all's well that ends well. Curtis Danko goes back to his tomb to rest peacefully. The town gets their Halloween again, and all the zombies get to dance with their loved ones for the rest of the night until they eventually turn into dust, and, you know, wherever dust zombies go is where they go. Uncle Fred finally gets to hear how much his son James actually loved him. James then makes up with his son Danny, vowing to take more time and, you know, stop being such an absentee workaholic father. And Danny, my boy, gets his first kiss, a school cheerleader. So fucking right for him. So check this movie out, is what I would normally say, if you could find it anywhere. That's the problem with these kind of made-for-TV movies. It's not really anywhere online. There is a rip of it on YouTube, but it's not the best quality. It is probably a VHS rip, and it feels like it. So if you want that, you know, that true nostalgia, you know, just search for When Good Ghouls Go Bad in YouTube, and it'll pop up. The video will pop up. It's rough. The quality ain't the best, but it's what we got, man, and it's free. Yeah, and towards the end, the audio kind of gets out of sync, so that's a little annoying, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? It's a good movie, is the point of all this. I love that movie. Love it. Anyways, give it a watch. Tell me what you think. If there's another movie like this that really hits that Halloween nostalgia feel, let me know. Throw it in the comments, all that dumb stuff. And I'll catch you next time. Something I forgot to mention. Before the zombies actually show up on screen, around town, Halloween decorations are being mysteriously put up, seemingly instantaneously. They never really say who's doing it, and they kind of hint that it's maybe the zombies that are doing it, but it happens so fast that it's almost like it can't be the zombies that are doing it. I just like to think that with the coming of Curtis Danko, the Herald, these things just pop up. Like they're just being generated out of the ether. It really adds to his mysteriousness or his power, I guess. Like if Curtis Danko were to rise from the grave today, let's say in the middle of July, Halloween decorations would show up all around town, like heralding his arrival. I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool. And if I ever turned into a vengeful spirit, killed on Halloween, coming back to get my revenge, you're damn straight that's exactly what I would do.